I think everyone agrees that soundtracks are a vital part of video games, because it can make or break a game for some people. And for instance, if you're playing an RPG or fighting game and the combat or fighting music isn't that great, then you would probably stop playing the game. Music can also elevate emotional scenes and make it that much more impactful. So I made a list of my top 10 favorite soundtracks. And keep in mind that this is all my own opinion, so don't be upset if your favorite game isn't on here. And if you have your own list, I would love for you to share them in the comments. Also, this list is in no particular order. Anyways, with all that out of the way, let's jump into number 10. So this one is kind of a cheat one since it's way more than one game, but I'm putting the entire Zelda franchise here because I love the music from all of the games and it was impossible to just choose one. Most of the games have a very orchestral sound to them, and it makes everything feel just that much more epic and emotional. I feel like every Zelda game always has at least one iconic song that you will remember, and since there's so many games, there should be at least one game that has a soundtrack you enjoy. And if not, then number 9. If Sonic games get at least one thing right with every game, it has to be the music. But out of all the games, Sonic Mania has to be my favorite. I've always been a sucker for 8-bit or 16-bit soundtracks, so I got very giddy when I first heard Sonic Mania's soundtrack, and I fell in love with it fairly quickly. Pun intended. There are also lots of iconic songs that return in Sonic Mania, along with new songs and remasters of other songs, and they all sound amazing. This is a soundtrack I could listen to for the rest of time and never get tired of it. It's very good, and Sonic Mania is also a very good game, and you should play it. Number 8. This one is also another cheat one because it is yet again another franchise of games. This time it's Mega Man. Again, it was very hard to just choose one game because most of the Mega Man games have very good music. And as I said before, I am a sucker for 8-bit soundtracks, and Mega Man does it so well. But you know, these games are hard, so when there's banging music in the background, it makes it really hard not to jam out, and that could have been the cause for a few of my deaths. But they shouldn't have made all their songs so damn catchy, so who's really to blame here? Number 7. Mario games have never really been known for their music, or at least to me they haven't. Obviously the main focus is always the gameplay, and when I played Mario Odyssey it was the same for me, where gameplay was the focus and it didn't really have a memorable soundtrack, as I mentioned in my video, Welcome to Super Mario Odyssey. But since that video I have given the soundtrack another listen, and damn was I wrong. There are tons of catchy songs that I couldn't stop singing the melodies of after listening to them. There is not a single bad song in this game. Also, there's more songs than I originally thought there were. Not to mention, all the kingdoms and major songs have 8-bit versions. I'm starting to notice a pattern. I promise not all the soundtracks on this list have 8-bit or 16-bit songs. For instance, this next game doesn't. Number 6. Final Fantasy VII Remake was probably the most anticipated game for everyone since it was announced. But I'm not here to talk about the game. I'm here for that juicy soundtrack that was completely remade for the game, but it still tries to maintain all the charm the original had while still feeling new and refreshing, with this more full orchestrated sound for most of the songs. And it makes things feel more impactful, with the combat theme giving you that nice fight energy you need, and the boss themes kick ass so hard. Of course, this all gets toned down when it's time to explore the wonderful city of Midgar, and when they decide it's time for you to cry your eyes out. Also, there's the Honey Bee Inn, which needs no explanation. Number 5. Journey has such a beautiful soundtrack. It matches the atmosphere so much. It's very calming just hearing the sand, the wind, and the beautiful music as you explore the ruin-filled desert. And the music also carries all of the story scenes, because if you don't quite understand what a scene is trying to say, since there's no talking at all in the game, the music will make sure you know what emotion you should be feeling, and it does a damn good job of it. Also, the soundtrack is just very nice to listen to when you're going to bed or just want background music while doing something else. Without the music, this game's story wouldn't be nearly as memorable as it is to me. Go play Journey if you haven't. Number 4. Doom Eternal is one of, if not the most metal video game soundtrack. Like, holy shit. You will be non-stop headbanging throughout the whole game. It also constantly brings the energy that you need to up. It's never felt more good just mowing down waves of enemies, like Jesus. It also makes you curse a lot. It's very hard to describe in words how hard this soundtrack actually goes, because it's kind of crazy. They really didn't have to go this hard with the music. I can just imagine Doomslayer having some big ass headphones underneath his helmet, just absolutely rocking out to these songs. This could start mosh pits at concerts. Anyways, that's enough talking about that. Number 3. Wow, would you look at that, yet another retro style game made it onto the list. This time it's Celeste, which is an amazing 2D platformer, one of my favorites of all time. It has an insane amount of replay value because the platforming never gets old and has a great story on top of all of it. But, you wanna know what else has a good amount of replay value? The music. I listen to Celeste's soundtrack almost daily. It's incredible and it's kind of addictive in a way. The melodies are so good and the instruments they use are super unique. And when put together, it just hooks you and makes you want to listen more. Also, the music really helps set the pace for certain emotional scenes and for certain parts of the levels. Celeste's soundtrack also has a very lo-fi feel to it, which makes it very calming in a lot of cases, which is very ironic since this game is hard as hell. If you have yet to play Celeste, you should, and if it doesn't interest you, the very least you could do is listen to the soundtrack. Number 2. Nier Automata is such a masterpiece, from the gameplay to the characters to the story. But the thing we're here to talk about is the music. I think Nier Automata has the most beautiful video game soundtrack ever. All the songs are so beautifully crafted and all of them will make you feel very emotional because most of the songs are sad. Why did they do this to me? I just wanted to explore, man, come on. Also, all the vocals sung in the music are spoken in the Chaos language, which is a language completely made up just for the game, and it sounds cool as f. I will never get tired of hearing the very calming music in the background as you explore Earth. And I already mentioned that music sounds very calming and kind of sad when you're just exploring. So take that and ramp it by 100 when an emotional scene hits. This game broke me for like a week. I've only been talking about the sad and calming songs, but this game can also kick it up to goddamn 11 with these big, insane, epic songs that just make you feel like you're ascending. This soundtrack is really good, by the way. Anyway, on to number 1. Persona games have always had great music, and with the series blowing up with the release of Persona 5, I think it's safe to say it has one of the most iconic and recognizable soundtracks ever. All of the songs are so good, from the battle theme, the Palaces and Mementos theme, the Velvet Room theme. There are even some songs you wouldn't expect to be any good, like the shopping themes, and even Talking to People has its own song. They're all so damn catchy, and Lynn, who is the vocalist for Persona 5, absolutely killed it. Her vocal range is f***ing nuts, and it adds an extra layer to every song she's on, which makes the songs get stuck in your head forever, which is the best thing ever. I think Persona games will always have amazing music going forward, and they are never going to miss. Holy shit, this soundtrack is so good. And there you have it, those are my top 10 favorite soundtracks. Hold on a minute there, dude, aren't you forgetting about one game? Huh? What game are you... Oh, wait a minute, I remember now. Actual number 1. It's kinda bug and kind of snack. It's Bug Snacks.